seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to a new edition of SA Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. I'll be your host for the evening. Joining me tonight is Royce. How are you feeling? I know last week you were feeling a little bit under the weather. Hopefully you and the family are doing much better.
Yeah, they're doing a lot better. I'm getting there. Still getting there. This
You
That's
seem to be
real
like
cool,
SAFC. You'll get healthy and then,
Shut up.
you'll come right back.
I mean, it's the same thing with the St. Louis Cardinals. Don't tell me I'm cursed. I'm probably cursed. I mean, let's be real about it.
And then I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know where he is on the screen, but who is the new guy that we have on the set here? Do you want to introduce yourself here? I'm not sure I can recognize who you are.
Freshly shaven, Idolo, Rafa.
Rafa, you look great.
You've lost like 20 pounds and with hair and like
as Matt Gama says, damn. But no, hopefully everybody's doing well. Last week, I think we had a pretty good result last Wednesday. This weekend, Friday nights wasn't such a great result with the Athenians, which we'll get into here, and then we'll preview. SAFC going. They got two matches this week. One against El Paso, Locos, and Yuma. My Devin Sandoval love affair player that I don't like is coming to town with his theatrics, just like Devin Sandoval. And then we travel to Austin Bold, and they're hundreds of fans for that here. So a lot to get to. Starting out with the Athenians, they did lose 4-0 to Santa Clarita Blue Heat, and Santa Clarita did end up winning the title 5-0 over Connecticut Fusion. It was like the Blue Heat were just special. There's no way to separate it. Alyssa Thompson, the Gatorade High School National Player of the Year, Stanford commitment, just there's not a whole lot you can say. It's just they were in a completely different class. I thought the Athenians put on a great show. They were down 3-0 at half and only gave up one in the second half, and it was late, and the Athenians made some great changes, got a little bit more aggressive. They didn't set back, put a little bit more pressure on them, but the talent at the Blue Heat was just, you have to give them heads up. They were just night and day better than the other three teams there. I was lucky enough to be able to go up on Friday. I watched the Connecticut Fusion and the Midwest United match, which ended 2-0 with Connecticut Fusion winning. And it was a pretty even match. When looking at it, I was like, hey, the Athenians can match up pretty well against either one of these teams while they were playing, talent-wise and along those lines. But the Blue Heat, like I said here, to me, they were just special. And like I said here, there's several of those players that,
a different species. Yeah, that
if
team
they
was
stepped up on an NWSL team tomorrow, it wouldn't shock me for that here. Alyssa Thompson's 14, by the way, and I know, is it Olivia Moultrie? And I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name there. Who's trying to break the barrier of youngest player to be able to sign by NWSL. If Alyssa wanted to go pro tomorrow, for Dash fans, that would be a player that you'd want to get.
Yep.
Rafa, Royce, any thoughts on the UWS National Championship with the Athenians, and just any final thoughts on the Athenians before we head to San Antonio FC and talk about their upcoming week.
I can just say that for the Athenians part, just a great season for them. They weren't expected to go this far, and to make this to the the national semifinals, it's a really good accomplishment. They lost to the team that won the national championship. So no, there's nothing bad to say about what they did, and hopefully they can build upon that for the following season in 2022. So I think that they're in a good spot, and hopefully that'll attract some more high caliber players to say, hey, we can maybe be part of the Athenians and get them over the hump and win that national championship. So congrats to them, and then great weekend for the UWS. Like I said, the team from California just was awesome. Hearing stats, I had one of the players had like 141 goals in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous, but hey,
That's dumb.
That's like I said, that's just the talent that we have here in the U.S. And like I said, you may see that player playing with the U.S. national team pretty soon.
And what's crazy, they only brought 5 bench players, so it's not like they cycled a lot of people through. What they had is what they had, and Spurs and Chill put great goalie too. Yeah, that's the starting goalie for the University of Michigan. So that they had on their team. So it was a stacked team. There's no question, and I would love to see where the Athenians get in that position. Because this is they won it in 2016, or I think it was 2016, 2017 that they won it. The following year they finished runner-up, and then they won it again this year. I'd love to see the Athenians become kind of that powerhouse here in Texas, along those lines where they had it. The other interesting fact that they did mention here in kind of their state of meetings is UWS is looking to go professional. D2 with that here, so that might be something to keep in mind. I know FC Austin, is looking to go professional. It'd be interesting to kind of see what direction the Athenians would go if that was an opportunity for them here.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish it up from my point of view. It was a great season. It was very entertaining. Congrats to the Athenians players and the staff. They won the state of Texas. That was huge. I think that's definitely worth repeating again because, they had that one game that they got kind of played off the field in Dallas, and then they came back and they beat that team in the playoffs. That's huge. That's a huge result for them. And obviously they came up against another species of team, in that California team. And I will say that an advantage that team had is there is no NWSL team in California. The nearest one is Utah, possibly Portland. So if those kids are from California, they're going to stay in California and play. They're going to play for that team, especially since the NWSL has that 18 and over rule. That I know they're trying to battle in court, but still,
that changes next week though with
correct.
Angel City coming on.
Yeah, exactly. Which is going to be difficult for that club to continue with the players that they have because the NWSL they're going to go to the 18 rule, and also they're going to have those local teams. But at the same time, a very good result. This was the first season with Juventus and the Athenians having that partnership. A very successful season. Can't wait till next season. Keep your head up high, girls. That was great. It was very entertaining and it was exciting. Just came up, one game short, but it was still a very successful season, and can't wait till next season.
Yeah, my final thoughts on it. Thank you to Ryan, who runs the Athenians. Social media always been so great with us, especially having Ashley and Ashley on last week was very appreciative of that here. So thank you. Also want to give a shout out to FC Austin and Danny for a great job hosting up in the Round Rock. Shout out to Jonathan, and happy birthday to you, host of the USL Weekly and Wizard Broadcasting. They did for those that watched it on 11 Sports, formerly Mayakuju. They are the ones that did the broadcasting behind the scenes, and why that is important is they're actually San Antonio based. They do a lot of the runners games. So the SA runners do a great job of putting on a production, and that's who does it here. So outstanding job by Wizard Broadcasting from everything that I've seen. The reviews, like from Protagonist Soccer, saying, for lower league clubs, this is how you present your product, and just did an awesome job. So great job by all of those that were involved with UWS putting that on. And then, my final thoughts on the Athenians, great job. Look forward to seeing what you guys can do next year. Speaking of San Antonio, I think it was this time last week here, we were like, hey, they're going to start to look pretty good. I think, Royce, you called out something last week, if I remember correctly.
Huh? Yeah, I meant to ask you to dub up that that cue of me talking last week, but somebody on here, it may have been the dude with the long hair and the big beard. I don't know where that guy went. But, no, but last week I did predict that Jose was going to have a breakout game and that he was going to get 3 points. I said 3 goals, and then I retracted that. And I said 3. I did say 3 points, and lo and behold, 3 points for Jose, 3 points for SAFC against New Mexico United.
The guy on the beard did say that Nathan would get the brace.
Fair.
I didn't say anything, so I guess I'm the oddball out here. But what a night! For San Antonio, they lost 2-0 to New Mexico in New Mexico, and they responded well with a 3-0 win. Nathan had the brace. Jose had the 2 assists, 1 beautiful assist, and just the talent that that guy has to be able to weight that and be able to see that vision, to be able to put that through, was incredible. However, just kind of on the recap here, PC unfortunately went down, and Kamiri went out with a possible injury as well, although didn't stop him from celebrating. So,
on 1 foot in the locker room and on the field. Man, can we catch a dang break? Can we catch a dang? Are you kidding me? My God, that was so frustrating.
That's so frustrating. I keep on saying we need a curandero in the locker room.
Dude, you need more than that.
Have you guys been lighting your candles? Has everybody been lighting? Seriously, has everybody been lighting their candles? Am I the only one? What are we doing? Come on. Ridiculous. But I will say, PC going out, it sucked. It really did suck. It hurt. But it also gave the opportunity for Muhammad Abu to come in, and good Lord, did that dude light it up. And I'm going to give you a couple stats just to show how effective he was. Because if you remember, without him, everybody was, well, by everybody, I mean Harry and Rafa, because I understood what they're trying to do. Not saying I'm smarter than you, but I have patience. Always complaining about the long ball. Always complaining. We're playing too many long balls. We're playing too many long balls. Well, what happens in this match whenever Abu comes on? We have a very similar number of long balls. We played 74 long balls. 30 of those were accurate. So that's about a 50-50 chance. If you remember, our passing rate was well below, 30? Mm-hmm. Abu comes on, and he's the pivot. He is the 6 that's blocking everything. He's the destroyer. He's also distributing from that. He's in the PC role. His long balls were so dang accurate. And the first goal that Jose scored was directly off of a long ball from Abu. And that dude's, I can't say enough about his performance in that match, because we don't win that without that. Also, the second stat that I have that is very telling about this match. New Mexico United and SAFC were both tied in shots, 14 each. New Mexico United had 1 shot on target, 1. And they had 8 off target, and they had 5 block shots. If you remember previous games before Colorado Springs, well, actually including Colorado Springs, most of the goals against SAFC started in that zone 14 area, which is right behind the penalty box. That's where Abu was standing, and he was there getting in the way of all the shots. So they only got 1 on goal from there. That's huge. And that's the difference that is a difference that a natural 6 makes. That's what we're missing with PC. That's what we were missing by having Lima have to go to the left and Gluto go on the right and vice versa. And because Lima can also play that 6. That's the big thing that we were missing. And that's why I was so excited about the signing. I was excited about PC coming back. I hope it's just precautionary and he's not that hurt. It took a pretty hard knock, but sometimes it's just a dead leg and it's not going to recover, but it recovers within a week. We'll see. We're praying for you, PC. But that's the big impact that Abu had in this match. It was Jose and it was Abu. Those should have been the 2 men of the match for sure.
Here's a question I want to ask. Abu was awesome, against New Mexico. How long have we had him under our radar? And if we had him longer, especially right before, when PC went down, how come we didn't sign him a lot sooner?
Don't play that game. Why don't we get him sooner? Don't do that. You're just being pedantic, man.
I mean,
be happy that they were able to sign him and they got him.
But
honestly, what I think happened. Hold on. What I think happened, real quick, just to answer that real fast. What I think happened. I think they had all of their international slots already filled, and that's why the Perusa deal ending, that was serendipitous. That Abu became available. We were able to sign him, and I'm sure in the times of COVID, it's very difficult to sign an international player right now, especially to get the visas and everything straight. So that may have been a thing that they were been working on for months, and they just now got it. If you remember, was it the 2019? I think it was the 2019 season, wasn't it? When Ebby, Ebby Akon, they could not sign him, and he stayed, and that's when Trump did his thing. Thank you, Donald Trump. But that's when he did that, predominantly Muslim country crap, and that's why Ebby couldn't come and play, because he was having problems getting his visa, and he ended up getting signed by another team.
Well, he got signed by San Diego, but
correct.
He is still yet to make it to San Diego. So
that's correct.
There's got to be some sort of.
It is a visa thing. I guarantee it's because I am a Twitter sleuth and I'm an Instagram sleuth.
Instagram, yes.
Dude's still over there. So who knows what the hell's going on? I feel sorry for that dude. Was awesome, and as a rookie, he led in clearances. Job. He was great. He could have been amazing here. I hope he's continuing his career over there. But man, that was.
But if he signed with San Diego? He signed with a professional team. I don't think he can. Yeah, and that's the crappy thing.
Yeah,
unless they get a permission on like a loan.
But there would be an announcement that there's a loan, and there hasn't been.
I think that's the thing, is that I don't know if he could have. I think they announced the signing because they're working on his visa, and that goes along with sponsorship, because to get a visa you have to have a sponsorship, and that's kind of why I'm like, if SAFC couldn't do it with all their pool, or SSE couldn't do it, then how's Landon Donovan, the fighting Landon Donovan's going to get it done? But it's just disappointing. Yeah, exactly. It's just disappointing, man. Ebby's great.
Ebby's a great person, and like I said, USL is missing along those lines. So Nathan has a brace, second one in 2 games, one at home, one on the road.
Fire.
Royce is sending me pictures of Patino poolside
without a cast, so
without a boot. If Patino comes back, who starts?
It's Nathan, because Patino had a possible injury, so he'll come late in the game. Give me a hard question. Come on.
But that changes the system, though. It does.
No, it doesn't. Nathan plays a very similar. Right now, he's playing very similar as a 9 that Patino would play. He is not playing how Dylan would play, because Dylan is a hold up 9. Right. He's that size. Patino runs. If you remember, a very similar goal was Patino's hat trick goal in the very first match of this season. Was a very similar goal to Nathan's second of the last match, where he's going against the back line. A beautiful ball gets played through. He breaks through with his speed and ends up scoring from the left side, scoring towards the bunker. Almost the exact same thing. It's Nathan and Patino are, I don't want to say they're interchangeable, but as 9s, they play very similarly. You could tell
do you take Quayle out and put Nathan there?
I don't.
That's an interesting prospect. It's possible. Now, Cuello has kind of had an off season, and the reason he has had an off season is he's not a natural six. Good Lord.
Sorry.
Thanks,
That's
Coach,
a great
for
one,
derailing
Coach.
us. I'm so derailed right now. Oh, God.
For those that are watching or that are catching on the podcast, Coach Kano, great guy, awesome podcast with the 50 and 50 for that here. A handle change is in order for at babyface Socrates for that here.
Right.
With his,
I'm derailed, man. I'm waiting for that.
Quail versus.
I'm waiting for that Johnson & Johnson sponsorship with baby oil for.
I took the Johnson shot, so maybe that's
San Antonio Soccer Roundtable brought to you by Pampers brand diapers. Anyway, sorry. Let's get back to it. Cuello has had kind of a rough season because he has had he's had to make a lot of, good Lord, Coach Cano, what are you doing, man? He's had to make a lot of defensive positioning and take a lot of defensive roles, and he's not a defensive midfielder. He's a 10. He's an attacker. That is why Los Dos and even LA Galaxy had him. He is a great attacker. He's a great shooter. He's a great distributor. That's what he does. He's not an 8. That's not in. He can play an 8. I mean, we saw it, but that's not where he's best suited for. He's definitely not a 6, and we had him play a lot of similar, defensive midfield roles, especially when Lindley would go up on the right. He would have to come back and play the 6, and that's kind of why we give up a lot of those chances in zone 14 right there in front of the box. Now that we have it, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, could you see maybe us going to like a 4-1-4-1 with the 2 central mids being Cuello and Nathan, and then Abu or PC if he's back, being that holding mid.
That's
and then Coutinho up top or Dylan up top.
That's basically what we did in this match at times. So obviously soccer is not, it's one of those things. I know Alexi Lawless said it. People like to throw out numbers because they think they sound smart, but they have no idea what's going on. Soccer is very fluid. It's always changing. You don't just stand in your one spot and that's it. So how they've gone about these last few matches is they have had, and this is what they've tried to do the entire match since the RGV match, basically, is they have a double pivot in the midfield as defensive mid. You have Cam Lindley and whoever the 6 is next to him. In a perfect world, that would be PC next to Lindley. And basically what you have is you can either overload on your right side with Cam Lindley going up, or you can overload on your left side with that 6 going up, and then you have your 10 also helping to go whatever side you want to overload. So whatever side one team is attacking, you can watch this. You can watch it the last few games because this is exactly what we've done. Whatever side that the opposing team wants to attack, SAFC is going right up the opposite side and attacking them and pinning them back. If you watch New Mexico United constantly try to attack on that right side, that's all they wanted to do was attack on that right. So what did we do? And where did the first goal come from? Was an interception in the midfield. Abu gets the ball, long ball to the right. Gallegos, who's basically wide open, attacking the side that they're not attacking on, and beating the center back to the inline, and Nathan finishing it off. That's perfectly what Marcina's system is designed to do. It is a 4-1-4-1, but that 1 always changes depending on what side you want to attack and what side you want to overload. And so it's basically a 4-1-4-1. It's just not as static as it was in those Mexican games. Yeah. I'm sorry, the games against the Mexican teams. It's not that static because you have more well-versed pros, and they're more apt to having those positional changes and still keeping up with what's going on in space and everything. So. And
we're going to kind of continue the conversation because I think this is an important switch here. Is San Antonio is getting ready to face El Paso, and Coach Cano mentioned that he thinks these are the 2 most talented teams in the Mountain Division. Predicting a great matchup. Looking at El Paso, they are first. Scored 16, only allowed 8. So obviously they're a very defensive team. They've always been a very defensive team. Former San Antonio FC Solinag is with them for it here.
Yep. How
do you see San Antonio attack Yuma in a very good El Paso defense with, I'm assuming Logan Ketter will also be between the
correct
between
the always a problem for right between the posts. Ketter's always a problem. He's a great goalkeeper. Always a problem for opposing teams. What I see happening and how they play, and if you watch the last match between El Paso and New Mexico United, they're basically it's the two Spider-Men pointing at each other. They play the exact same way. They try to bog down the middle and they attack up one side and they try to defend on the other side. So this is basically going to be New Mexico United Part 2, except
better talent though, I think.
Hold on. I'm getting there. The biggest difference between New Mexico United and El Paso. Locomotive is they can score. El Paso can score. That's the biggest difference. They've both not allowed that many goals, especially New Mexico United at home has not allowed that many goals. It's a baseball field. They know how to play it. El Paso also plays on a baseball field. How ironic is that? That's weird. Anyway, that's not ironic at all. That's why they play the exact same way, is because they're both used to playing in similar conditions. But that's basically it. This is basically going to be New Mexico United Part 2, except these guys actually have a really good El Paso is a very good talented roster as far as scoring goes. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful of that. But it's going to be a very similar game plan, which is going to help out Marcina a lot, because it's going to be a very similar game plan. And honestly, the Bold are going to be very similar as well. So I'm pretty excited.
But I don't think the Bold's talent, and I hate to say this because the Bold beat us, but I don't think the talent that they have is as good. I think if you're ranking
the Bold beat us because we could not finish, and this is back we're on that winless streak where we just could not finish. The big difference between that Bold match on the 3rd of July and the last 2 matches we've played, actually the last 4 matches SAFC has played, we finished. So hopefully we keep that alive. Austin also got super lucky at just a broken play in zone 14 at the very beginning of the game, and that they won based off that. They also had a red card, so that shouldn't even been close, but we couldn't finish. So hopefully, but it's still a very similar game plan. Just muck up the middle, gum up the works in the middle, and try to attack down one of the sides. And if you get that goal, defend like your life depends on it, because it does. That's how New Mexico United has been successful. That's how El Paso has been successful, and that's how Austin's been successful.
Yeah, I think Coach brings up a great point that the Locos can score with multiple players, and
that's what I mean.
Diego Luna is their Jose Gallegos. Yep. Diego Luna. They signed Sebastian Velasquez, who came back. I think he was playing in Israel last year.
That's correct.
For that here.
I think it was earlier this season, because whenever Palestine and Israel were exchanging salvos and rocket attacks and stuff,
he got nervous.
Yeah, he got super nervous, and I went on Twitter.
I would be nervous myself too.
Exactly. So that's literally a war zone. You don't sign up to go play professional sports to be in the middle of a damn war zone. But no, even I was tweeting at my political representatives and the U.S. representative or not representative, but the foreign diplomat for Israel for the U.S. I was even tweeting at him, being like, "Hey, you got an American soccer player here that's kind of in the middle of some crap, and he wants to get out. Can y'all help him?" So I'm glad to see. Not glad to see he's on El Paso's team, but I am glad to see that him and his family are safe here in the States.
Yeah, and Sebastian, how he left El Paso was kind of odd. Where
did he go to Miami?
Well, no, he went down, I want to say home, and was playing a contract. They couldn't come to a deal soon enough, and then El Paso moved on before he was ready to commit to come back to USL.
Gotcha.
They had committed to another player. He went to Miami and then through there. And then, of course, El Paso ended up welcoming him back. But, yeah, I think, Coach Cano is right. I think, for USL Championship to see 17-year-old Luna from El Paso and Jose Gallegos, with San Antonio, that'll be a fun matchup. I know they probably won't go head-to-head because they'll both, play that attacking mid.
Correct.
But what two great, exciting, players that both team have. And I believe Diego came through the El Paso Academy, if memory serves me correct, if I remember my episodes of Seriously Loco, who, if you want to catch a preview, I believe they're also recording either tonight or tomorrow. So, do check them out as well. Luis Solinak, any thoughts on him coming back? It was kind of odd how he left. 1 or 2 days after the season, went down to South America, Chile.
Yep.
Played a game or two, and then
COVID hit,
and then came back and didn't come back to San Antonio, but went to El Paso, for that.
I mean, obviously, you don't know how the contracts go. They may have initially had his agent reach out to San Antonio, and we had already signed. By that time, we'd probably already signed.
We had signed Patino by that
Patino
point. Yeah.
and Dylan. So maybe that was it. And he decided to, find somewhere close. He likes Texas, obviously. He wouldn't come back to Texas if he didn't, and ended up in El Paso. So, but I really do think with Solniak, he's been really trying to put back together his career. He had his career almost ended with a hip issue and some hip surgery while he was with Chicago, with the Fire. And SAFC was really where he rebuilt his career. He went to Chile. Obviously, he's from Argentina, so that's closer to home. I think Chile and Argentina border each other down because Chile is that strip to the west, and then Argentina comes all across just north of Tierra del Fuego. But anyway, it's closer to home for sure, and I'm sure he went there, and pretty much the same thing as everybody else who knew that we were going to have a pandemic in 2020. So that's just kind of how that went, and I hope the best for him. I hope he gets back to wherever he wants to be in soccer for sure. Because I mean, he's still super talented and he's still scoring goals like no one's business. But obviously, any San Antonio FC players, if you're watching or if you end up listening to this, please defend for the first 5 minutes.
That seems to be when he scores.
Yes, he likes to score in the first 10 seconds.
Kind of give him a good little shellacking to wake him up. Like,
I think Doyle's got that mean streak to
Varela or his
put in a good check. Oh, Varela just not with the shoulder that you dislocated, my guy. The other shoulder, give him a shoulder shove. So don't
shoulder should be healed about now, though, right? You'd think.
No, depending on how bad it was separated, that sometimes that
it was two of them, right? Though.
Yeah, the same one came out twice, so it could heal within a couple weeks, but that
do what they do in Varsity Blues. Just give them a shot.
Yeah, don't do that. No, that is not good medical advice. Go grow a beard or something, baby face. What are you doing?
So turning to next Saturday, Bold Stadium, where their average attendance is less than $1,000. Or actually, there's one final comment here. And this week, actually for Rafa and Royce here, interested to see the tactical adjustments of Coach Lowry and Coach Marcina. I love Coach Lowry. I thought he's been great going all the way back to the Jacksonville years of NASL here.
The Armada.
So this isn't kind of an old school matchup. These guys know each other. Your thoughts on the two coaches? I know Marcina typically is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more forward. Lowry tends to be a little bit more defensive, still physical. Both teams are very physical. So hopefully the referee from USL Pro keeps cards in the pockets, but keeps it called. But this is not going to be a finesse game by any means.
I think every time we tangle with them, there's always yellow cards. So,
I will say, real quick, just to bring it up, this last match against New Mexico United, no yellow cards.
No, 2 yellow cards.
Against who? I saw the stats said none.
No, 2.
Uh-oh.
There were Doyle got one,
yeah,
Oh, that's right. Professional foul. That's right. He did.
and then who was the other one? They were both in the second half.
Fatma, what are you doing to me, man?
Did Lima get one?
Hold on, I'll tell you here.
I think Lima got one.
Fop Mob's not good with the yellows. So if you're basing Fop Mob on
Obviously
yellows,
the other stats are
it'll
great,
do red cards,
yeah.
but it won't do through there here. Hold on 1 minute here.
It was what are we doing?
This
Cuello.
is
Cuello for
Cuello in the 68th.
Yeah. Cuello and Doyle got yellows. Dang it.
But
still
out of the whole game, but only 2, which is great for us.
Yeah.
I'll take 2.
And honestly, the
PC wasn't on the field long enough, unfortunately, to get his.
Shut up. That hurts. Shut up. So two huge points from this match to finish it off, and then I'll talk about Lori against Marcino. But the 2 huge points. Number one, that officiating crew was the best officiating crew.
Awesome.
To officiate a match because they weren't. I'm not saying they're lenient, but they just weren't the first thing giving out a card. They talked to the players, and she did talked to everybody,
job.
and she controlled the game without having to get card happy. She controlled the game, and that's what you need to have.
Her name was Natalie Simone. Excellent job by her.
She's great. That whole crew was great.
We send her roses.
That's not a good look. What you do is you say that's exactly how.
She did the job.
Yeah, that's how a game should be officiated by anybody. Period. That's it.
Was the one thing she did a really good job is all that flopping that New Mexico was doing, especially around the box.
Yeah.
She didn't fall for that, so I really
like to do.
For that.
She didn't fall for any of ours either. So
fair.
To be fair.
Nathan had a couple where it was like, oh, come on, man. I think before he scored his first goal, he had one where it was like, just get up, dude. Don't do that. But the second thing and the most important thing, beside the 3 points and 3 points for Jose and the 3 points for the team, welcome back, Connor Maloney. Jesus, we have been waiting on you for so long. Good Lord. My goodness. And I'm so happy to have him back. It's pretty obvious the entire team was happy to have him back. Lord knows what he went through to get back. I'm sure he's had a couple setbacks, but man, it's so good to see him back on the pitch. Also,
I forget how built that dude is.
Yeah.
Dude is
a brick S house for sure. But I mean, we had Captain Cardoni, but
which I think was the first time, which is good to see.
I think it may have been, but I will say Connor being out there, Connor's probably going to be the captain.
Yes, Connor
going
PC,
forward,
yes.
For sure. And PC if not, but yeah, man. Everybody just surrounded that guy. Everybody's real happy that guy's back, and I'm happy he's back because what does that do? That lets him be on the left. That lets Gleedle be on his natural on the right, and that lets you have so much flexibility in the midfield because you can even have Lima on the bench now to get a break. Lindley can finally get a break. You can have Lima and Abu next to each other. Lindley can finally get a damn break. So it's exciting.
My only negative, and
watch yourself now,
was by us, the fans.
Oh, yeah.
There were only about 5,600 that showed up to the game. On a nationally televised game, we've got to be better. I've always said, hey, we get 6,000. We didn't even reach 6,000 for this one here. That to me, I know it's Wednesday, but still, it was, and then there was no tifo, but we won't go there.
Yeah, that was not great. And hopefully this Wednesday, hopefully this Wednesday we sort that crap out because it was pretty unacceptable. I will say I wasn't there. I'll be the first one to say that. My entire family was sick, so I didn't want to be patient zero over there. And honestly, my wife had a talk me down because I was like, I'm gonna go, and she's like, you're sick, you're not going anywhere, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna try to give it a run. I think I feel better now. I was just lying.
I know we had some New Mexico fans behind us. I think they left right after the third goal. So
yeah,
so
they were cool. I'll give
cool.
credit to the New Mexico fans, that were in section 114. They had a couple of diving incidents, and then we had somebody that dived in the box, and they rightfully called me out saying, "Hey, what about that one?" And I was like, "All right, yeah, you're right." So fair is fair. It was awesome, and like I said here, thank you to the New Mexico fans for coming out. I think they outdraw RGV, which is not hard to do.
Well, it's not hard to do. They also outdraw Austin Bold, also not hard to do. But what I will say, congrats New Mexico United on that.
Yes, well, we're going to come to that in the
hopefully
news
the city council. Yeah, hopefully the city council passes. But that's exciting news for you guys. We're excited on this side for you guys, especially because we don't have to play in a damn baseball field. But yeah, we're excited. So
moving on to the Bold. I find it funny that they say, "Hey, they're giving away a Austin Bold soccer ball to the first 1,000 fans." Last 2 home matches, they haven't reached 1,000 fans, and that's reported attendance, not actual people showing up. That's reported attendance. Yeah. So my goal is, I would love to see SAFC outdraw the Bold fans. It is a Saturday night.
That would be nice.
And so that would be awesome to see. I know
it's also my birthday.
I think I'm going to take the truck, and I think I've got Robert and his son, and I think recruited Rafa. So I'm taking 5. So
5 balls right there that we could throw on the field.
no throwing on the field.
Yeah,
I don't want to get kicked out or arrested or anything
like
that.
Mexico
Rafa, your new haircut, man. You're kind of walking that line here, buddy. That's strike 2, man. Come on.
When Nathan scores a hat trick, we'll throw the balls in instead of the octopus.
So, but no, like I said here, I do think that for the Bold, it pulls a. I don't want to say it's one of the worst losses that we've had, because I think the Bold are one of those sneaky good teams. They have an excellent coach in Coach Serrano, probably one of the better coaches in the league here that probably doesn't get as much love as he should, doing what he's doing there, with the Bold here. Austin always plays San Antonio tough.
Yeah.
So we'll start with you, Rafa. Your thoughts on what SAFC needs to do different this time than last time? And I know it seems like we're, quote, healthy in certain spots, which I think might make a big difference.
Finish. Like Roy said, we need a finish. That's just as simple as that. But I also noticed on that game, we just didn't have any energy. Like, we weren't motivated enough. And something changed in the team. To me, I think the 2 Liga MX games really brought some.
It relit the fire. The fire.
Especially, and I don't know if that sent a message to some of the other players that the younger players can play, because they were playing guys that were 2 divisions higher and can keep up with them. And so I'm wondering that he sent a message. I'll say, hey, you can be replaced. And I want to have players out there that are hungry, and it showed. There were some ones that did really shine, and I think that's where Nathan really kind of kicked it to the next gear, because if you count those 2 games and then the 2 that we played, he's already got 5, 6 goals, 6, 7 goals.
Who, Nathan?
Yeah,
4. I think he hadn't scored prior to the
4 league. But he's counting the Mexican league goals.
I think he scored 3 in the friendlies.
I think he scored 2, 1 in each, and then Varela had 1, and Kamiri had the other.
That's really kind of kickstart him to really get it going.
It was Ollie. It was Ollie with the goal. Ollie had 1 in the first one, and then Kamiri had 1 in the second one, and then Nathan had 1 in each. So he has 6 in the last 3 games. Well, 4 games.
So that's really boosted his confidence. You can see he's really playing with a step, and maybe that could be the difference going into Saturday. And I think, like I said, I wasn't really impressed with the Bulls' defense. Like I said, they were just lucky, going into, us just not being able to finish. And I think now that the way Nathan's playing, he's going to be able to finish a lot of those. So I do see us, I think, winning this game, getting those 3 points back that we lost back in July 3rd.
Go ahead, Russ.
No, I was going to say, one thing I did want to look up. So number one, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I guess I did. Yeah, that first game, like Rafa said, it's just, and like I've been saying, just finish. San Antonio had 21 shots in that game against the Bold, only put 5 on target. None of those went in. I mean, finish. 21 shots and only put 5 on is not great. But at the same time,
and they got a good goalkeeper. They had a couple of shots that I think would have beat the average goalkeeper, but the goalie that they have is, and I forget the name of him, but I'm not saying he's as great as Tyler Derrick, but he's kind of in that neighborhood.
Right, but still, the point is finish your chances, and that's what they've been doing the last couple of games. That's the only big difference, really. That and we have a 6, which is huge.
It's a huge difference.
But if you have a 6, I mean, if some butts, candy, and nuts, but if you have a 6, you probably don't give up that 1 goal to Bold on July 3rd. You don't necessarily are guaranteed to score a goal, but you don't give up that goal. And probably what happens is whenever Bold go down to 10 men, you take that 6 off and you put another attacker on, and kind of the same result happens. You just got to finish, man. You have to finish. That's it. That's it.
So,
and I know the big crap thing, and don't act like we're going to forget it, that everybody was saying Marcina, there's a problem with Marcina. No one wants to get the results for him, yada, yada, yada. And I'm here to tell you and remind you, it's not Marcina. He is putting his players in a good position to get a lot of chances. It's up to those players to finish those chances. Really simple. And these last few games, everybody's happy because they've been finishing those chances that Marcina has put them in the position to finish. So there you go. Go ahead.
So I'm going to ask you guys this question here, and then we're going to kind of go into the news and notes and standings, and then we'll talk Gold Cup, and then I've got an off topic for the two of you that doesn't relate to soccer here.
Oh no.
For that here. So this week, and this is a very important stretch for San Antonio FC. They play El Paso at home.
Oh yeah.
They play the Bold. Next week they play away at El Paso, and next Sunday they play away at Copatejas. We're gonna just focus this week on the Locomotive and the Bold. How many points do you think they walk away with this week?
I made such a good prediction this last game. You're going to make me try to tempt fate and do it again. Come on, Rafa, you go first.
I think we can get the 6. I honestly think we can get the 6.
I think we can get the 6, but
we just need.
Would you settle for 4?
I think
this is the week you need to get the 6, because next week the 2 are on the road against the top 2 teams in the division. And as much as we hate to say RGV is ahead of us, they went to OC and they play Phoenix this week. So to me, if San Antonio can, and we're going to go into this in the standings, if San Antonio is able to get a 6-point week by beating El Paso, and if Rising can take care of RGV, the gap closes quite a bit this week.
I think we need the 6 this week, and then next week at least get a point in El Paso, and then get the win at RGV. So like 6 this week and 4 next week. That's what we need, and I think that would help. Like I said, that's going to close the gap.
That would put us what, in second place if we were to do that, depending on other results. Good lord,
be great. Which, like you mentioned, Royce, like we were in that middle of that death trap of months. Yeah. Now you're within striking distance of getting that first place, and like I said, we're peaking at the right time.
Like I said at the beginning of the season, this August is going to be make or break for the season, and October is going to be for positioning. But this August is going to be the test that shows you, are you a real team,
You got to
or
get
are
to
you just a
August. So
pretender?
you got to get to August, and
You got to get through August. You got to get through.
you got to
August.
get to August.
Oh, I know.
Because
I
if
know.
you
There's
drop
2
these
matches.
points,
I know.
this week, and even going into next week,
Yeah.
it puts you, and I think maybe
And
not
this
too
is
deep a hole to
interdivision
make the
matches, too.
playoffs, but too deep a hole to possibly win the division.
Yep.
So moving to, I noticed Royce kind of ducked it, and I'll let him duck it here.
No, it's fine. I will say it's going to, hopefully we'll get 4 points. I think it's going to be a draw on Wednesday, and hopefully we finally beat the Bowl on the road. It's the perfect time for it. Let's do it on my birthday. Let's get 3 points. I think we tie, though. I think it's going to be a scoreless or maybe a 1-1 draw at home against El Paso. I think their defense will come up. We'll see if we continue with the finishing boots, because who knows? We could easily get 6 points.
I think they get the 6 points.
We could have 2 more 3-0 games, to be honest. A big thing is definitely going to be, and I hate to say this, and it just sounds like a cop-out or an excuse, but it depends on the officiating. Because if we have similar officiating, high quality officiating like we had this past week, where they were good she was good with both sides, not giving the crap penalties and calling what she should have properly, definitely we'll be at a good advantage. But if they just want to have a card show, and that'll be that. But I'm predicting a draw on Wednesday and 3 points on Saturday going into the make or break August.
I think for me, San Antonio gets the W in both games. And like I said here, I think they get a 2-0 win against El Paso, and I think against the Bold they get a 1-0 win, just because it's on the road for that here. But I do think this is the week San Antonio gets the 2 wins. Next week, I think, is the big question of how many points can they get with both on the road here. But looking at the Copatejas here, RGV played 8 matches. You could add El Paso and Locomotive, or El Paso and San Antonio together, and still not equal the amount of matches that they played. They've got 10 points, 2 wins, 2 losses, 4 draws, 10 goals. So if you look at their max points left, they've only got a max points at 22. So everybody else is in a better driving seat. Bold's played 5, got 8 points. El Paso's got 6 with 3 points, and San Antonio's played 4, but only 2 points. So for Copatejas, if San Antonio is going to really remain in it and be competitive, these next 2 weeks, are going to tell a lot about what happens with the SAFC. Looking at the standings here, El Paso is in first place with 25 points and with the tiebreakers. RGV second place with it here. Due to goal difference, that's the only difference, because they have split their season series 1-1, but goal difference, Locomotive have the advantage, which is the second tiebreaker. New Mexico's in third, but if you look, they played 2 more matches than San Antonio, Colorado Springs, and even the Bold. Bold's 1 point back at 20 points. If you look at USL standings, you'll see the Switchbacks in 5th place, but actually according to the rules, because San Antonio has the tiebreaking advantage head-to-head, we are actually in 5th place here for that here. So don't necessarily fall for the USL standings. They haven't ironed out the head-to-head options on there. So San Antonio FC is actually have that. And just a plug, if you follow on my Twitter, I tweeted a link that has all the tiebreakers for all of USL and intra and outer division matches for that here. So, if you want to delve into the stats, we've got it here for you. Colorado Springs, unfortunately is in 6th place with 18 points, even though they've scored the most goals in the league. Unfortunately, they give up the most goals or the second most goals compared to Real Monarchs. And with the Monarchs, they are having a tough season. Out in the Pacific, which is who we would face in the playoffs, Rising's number 1 and probably a clear number 1 at this point. Orange County, second, 21 points. San Diego Loyal, who has actually already finished with Phoenix Rising, so a little bit of schedule oddity by USL. 12 matches and 4 of them have been against Phoenix Rising. They're in third place at 18. Las Dos is the fourth victim in the Pacific here, but between the Galaxy Lights, Defiance, it seems to switch, depending on the results. Oakland Roots, congratulations, you played a game. That's didn't win, but you played a game. That's good for you. Out in the East, the Rowdies lead. Although they've had a little bit of a rough stretch. Watch out for Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who San Antonio does play coming up, followed by Hartford and Miami. Keep an eye out on Charleston. They're starting to warm up a little bit. Another team that warms up late.
And in August, real quick. In August, we do play the
Red Bulls. And if you look at the Red Bulls, they've allowed 30 goals.
We play the Riverhounds as well.
No, right. Pittsburgh Riverhounds at home. Hold on. Mm-hmm. We play Pittsburgh Riverhounds at home, but we go to New York.
Correct.
New York's our away one here, and
correct.
They tend to give up some goals here, obviously, by allowing 30 and always
that
scoring.
That is a goal differential. Yeah.
So, and the East is kind of odd. And then in the Central, Louisville City, even though they came off a last second, or they gave up a last second goal to Colorado, still with a commanding lead of, I won't say commanding, 27.
I was going to say, what's a commanding?
I still think they're the odds-on favorite. Birmingham seems they seem to be a little bit like San Antonio, where they win the games that you don't think they'll win, and then they'll lose some that you think that
they're also missing next
Flemings.
game they won't, but yeah, they've been missing Flemings for sure.
Tulsa, unfortunately, gave up a late goal to the Energy to lose to them. So that's, and I'm sorry, I didn't update that correctly as far as on the form here. Surprise to me, I know they don't have 116 points. They got 16. Memphis, I just caught that here. 116, that would be some sort of record. I think the surprise is Indy 11 down in sixth place here. They're a little bit struggling. The Energy's already fired the coach, and it seems to have worked quite a bit as they've progressed up the standings.
Who did Indy just lost to somebody that they had no business losing to, like in the last? Oh, it was
they lost to Birmingham. Yes.
Birmingham, yeah, that was a last minute goal. Yeah, I did see that. I know Kayla was super excited about that. So. Yeah.
All right, so news and notes. We got a lot to cover. News and notes. I think it's official. USL and MLS breaks up per the Striker Texas. Only 4 MLS teams will be in USL in 2022.
USL is going the ways of UT and OU from the Big Ten.
That's going to be my off topic here. LA Galaxy, Atlanta United 2, Loudoun United, and the Red Bulls. Although they are going to be the only teams next year in it. So out west, we only have 1. However, in 2023, all 4 of them are gone as well. The other big news, and this comes from Jeff Reuter, with the Athletic, these next 3. The winter calendar, fall to spring, it'll match Europe for transfers. It's off cycle for MLS. My question is, how do you set it up? Like Liga MX in a split season, or like Germany with the winter break here? We'll go with you on this one here, Rafa. First here, your thoughts if they do switch, how would you want it to do it?
Do you want 2 champions, like one in each season, or do you want one?
Apertura and the clausura.
Yeah, I mean we could mimic what they do with Liga MX, and then like what they do in the end, they have both champions of each
2 playoffs.
In the playoffs, like play it like in a Super Cup. That'd be great.
So that sounds like a winter league in ASL style.
But that'd be great.
Well, no, but NASL did not have the playoffs. They had more set up like Germany, where the winner of it's a semi version of what they had.
Right. No, I get the point, but I mean it's a hybrid. Yeah, I mean we get each other. So in Germany, there's 1 full season, but there is a long winter break in between. That kind of makes it feel like it's 2 different seasons, right? And in Germany, they also call it the 2 different seasons. They also call it the beginning, and they call it the final part. In Mexico, yes, there's what they call the opening, and then there's a playoff and a winner there, and then there's the closing, and then there's a full season, a playoff, and a winner there, and then those 2 winners face each other for the Year Cup or whatever they call it. Right.
Campeón de campeones.
There you go. Which Champion of Champions, real original, real cool.
I'm going to adjust this because I have to step away for a quick second.
Joking.
Pro Rel. It's a closed leg Pro Rel, but it's a start. Voting's possible this winter meetings. That's when Jake Edwards wants to have it. Goal is to be in place by the 2026 World Cup. So your thoughts, we'll start with you, Royce, and then I got to step out for a second here. Okay.
If
you can hold on here.
I'll talk for like 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, you're good. So the first thing I'm going to hit on is a vote for fall to spring and to do kind of the European window. That would be really tough, especially here in the San Antonio market, because you would compete directly against the Spurs. So that'd be a very difficult thing to pull off, and also you would be competing against the Cowboys in the NFL, which, I mean, USL at the very end of the season also has to do the same thing. And you play on a different day. That's why you play on Saturdays, but it would still be difficult to go up against the Spurs and to maintain that, especially with San Antonio sports scene kind of being empty during the summer. I mean, you have the Missions, but Missions, it's a 5,000 seat stadium. You have plenty of other plenty more opportunity to get fans in if you keep the same calendar, and that's going to be a league-wide vote. I'm not sure if that passes.
I think the fall spring is fine, because you remember the basketball, they do take road trips, so there's really nothing going on. I think that maybe the biggest, I don't know, deter here, well, for Texas especially, would be high school football.
Yeah, exactly. And then
also high school soccer in the spring too.
Right, and also if you play on Saturdays, you're also competing against UTSA football. So I mean, there's just a lot more competition winter to spring than there is spring, summer, and the beginning of winter. So I'm not sure if that really works out for San Antonio FC. It may work out for other teams in the league. I don't think it really works out that well for the league. There's other ways you can go about that without completely taking off the summer. You can have two seasons where you play one in the summer and then one in the winter going toward the end of the year. So then your players are more, they're more ready to go like in a January transfer window. And then you can also have them play during the summer. So you could do the two parts of a season. Mm-hmm. Just don't do it, as a European window, just because I think USL would suffer as far as that goes. But
I think out of that, maybe out of doing this, the possibilities of partnering up with a lot of the European teams. I think maybe this is the reason why they're doing this. I won't be surprised if, for me, this would be a good opportunity to have SAFC partner up with some type of European team to kind of model what they're doing and so forth, even player exchange or something.
Yeah.
So I think maybe this is why they're considering this. So I think
that's very true. And obviously there's already teams that have partnerships with teams in Europe. I know OC, Orange County has a partnership with Glasgow Rangers, and somebody has a partnership with Eintracht Frankfurt. So I do know that's already a thing, and that could be more prominent. As far as Pro Rel goes, that's what everyone's been clamoring about, and that's how you get the attention here in the States. If you're USL, is you bring that where MLS is super reluctant to bring that in, mm-hmm. and they have the money to do so. I mean, this is how much money that the MLS has, in that they could implement everybody's complaining that, MLS is going to collapse if they bring in Pro Rel. Why would anybody want to do that? No, dude. And this is why. MLS team, a handful of MLS teams have appraised for more value than most European teams right now. And that's not butts and seats. That's not tickets sold. That's not merchandise sold. That is purely the TV contracts. That's where that money's coming from, and expansion fees. That's it. That's the only way. That's the only place that money's coming from. So you cannot tell me that if they continue this with inflation, this trajectory of TV contracts that the MLS is making, if they're going to continue to make that money and share that throughout the league, that you can't share that with two other tiers. Those two other tiers make a little bit less money, and you have pro rel between that. You can't tell me that that's not going to work.
And their TV contract isn't even that great. It's mainly expansion fees right now.
Correct.
That's going to start to dry up because you can't see them expanding that much more.
Correct. But if you expand and you bring in this whole other pool that has to bring, they bring in a lot of money to expand, but it's in a second tier or third tier, and you got to make your way up to the top. And if you do qualify, you got to pay, a penalty to get in the top. It's money. People know how to make money. That's basically all that is. It's very easy to imagine and to implement a system of pro rel and MLS. It's very easy. And I don't know why. I mean, I know why they haven't done it is because they like the money they're bringing in, but it's very easy to do that. And if you have pro rel, you bring more competition. When you bring more competition, you bring more money, you bring more eyes on the league, and you get more fan base, and you make more money that way. It's a no-brainer, but MLS is so how do I put this nicely?
You got to have a league that can prove that it's a moneymaker. That's what you have to have. Yes,
it already is in its iteration.
But it's not in the United States.
It's basically communism. Yes, it is. The MLS is a communist league where it's a closed top tier. There is no sporting in that at all. And where their money come from, like we're saying, is it's sponsorship deals, it's expansion fees, and it's TV rights. It's not ticket sales. But if you were to bring some excitement, if you were to bring that and actually get money out of that, plus the sponsors, that you get more eyes on your league. When you get more eyes and popularity on your league, that brings two things. That brings sponsorship deals, and that brings TV rights. You bring those two things, you're just increasing your money. The only thing you're not increasing is expansion fees. Well, if you charge a penalty, if you win, the second or third tier, you have to pay a fine to get into the next tier, and they'll help you with like roster building or something. Who loses out of that? But MLS isn't going to do that. USL is looking at doing that, and good for them, because hopefully this sets apart USL from MLS to where they see, MLS is they're just a bunch of rich people making money, and USL is actually a sporting league. So
go ahead, Rafa. You had something?
I'd like to mention about MLS just being that way. There's always when you're hearing the rumors of them merging with Liga MX, you're gonna have to have a promotion regulation. There's just way too many teams. You have 18 teams in Liga MX plus 32 teams in 30 teams in MLS. So how are you going to play 48 games? You're going to have a regulation and a promotion within those two if they're going to try to do the merger. So
right.
So I mean, for USL, I think this would be good for them. And also, like I said, with the USL Cup, it's going to just bring more competition in too. So
I think for USL, they're kind of caught in the middle. You've got MLS that's, hey, we're not going to do it. You've got NISA also at D3. You got MLS that's coming in at D3. NISA has said they will do pro rel as soon as they can build that foundation. And NISA, Ron Patel just went there. They're starting to attract quite a bit of talent. So I think for USL, in order for them to, and I know Jake Edwards mentioned this, is to kind of put their mark on the map. That's how they can do it, is by being the first league in the United States to be able to do it.
Correct.
And if they're going to do it, they need to do it sooner than later, because the gap between League One and USL Championship is going to grow. It is just, we talk MLS, how its growth. If you remember, USL's not necessarily that far off. Yeah, we're 10,000, 15,000 now, 10 million to get in, where before it was 1, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, to get in. So you can see USL, the value of USL teams is also growing. What USL needs to do is to be able to incorporate, that way both of them can go up. It's closed. USL was very smart on this when they brought League One on, because they brought the owners that they brought in were brought in at the USL Championship level for the PL, the PLS requirements where they're requiring 5,000, in the ownership, net worth. So this has been something that I think a lot of people sleep on. Jake Edwards has been saying this publicly, and I think he's caught on that if the first league that does this is going to get a boom, whether it's NISA, whether it's USL, one of those two teams, it's going to get a boom. And we saw the decision with NASL not taking MLS's help at that time. What happened to NASL when USL said, "Hey, fine, we'll take it"? USL at the time was the NISA of the two leagues, very up and down, young upstart. They got the help from USL, from MLS, which stabilized them. They surpassed them. Now they've got to keep an eye on there. So to me, like I said here, I know it's not what everybody wants, an open pro rel, but it's a start. And to me, that's the most important thing. And if they are going to do it, I hate to say it, but they need to do it now, and I think that's why Jake Edwards is saying, "Hey, we're going to vote on it this winter." I'm not sure about the calendar change. I think that's going to be a little bit, harder to get through, but I don't think Jake Edwards puts it up for, or says that it's going to be up for a possible vote this winter if he doesn't have confidence that he's got the votes to get it done. So the question is how soon? I think you could see it come, year 2024, because next year is the last year of the MLS 2 teams. It wouldn't shock me that in 2024 that USL has that'll be the first year where you have the start of it. Now, how it comes to fruition, or is the first year, is it teams dropping down to kind of build up USL League One more, and then promotion starts the following year? That'll be the question. Next one kind of ties into the team that we just faced and the team that we're going to be facing here. New Mexico announced last Saturday that they're going to be building they're trying to build a new stadium, soccer specific. It's going to go to the city council within the next couple of weeks, or for a bond, which isn't supposed to raise any of the taxes. If it passes through there, then it'll go to vote in November. For that here to see if they can get it passed. So possibly within 2 to 3 years, New Mexico will have a soccer specific stadium. If you like stadium porn, there's some nice pictures of it, of what it could be. So there we go. And then to me, that puts El Paso on the clock.
Hold on. If you would like to see the renderings of their possible stadium,
dude, it is what it is. Come on, man. You got people that love to see it. It's. So thoughts on, anyway. I know we kind of touched base on it. Thoughts on New Mexico Stadium. I think it'd be great for him personally, for the state of New Mexico, with Colorado Springs, New Mexico, and especially if you could get a stadium in El Paso. And talking with El Paso fans, they think that that might be a little bit tougher draw with that here, but I think the fans can demand it.
I think El Paso will probably get a field, I think, pretty soon. I mean, the town is growing. I know they want to do it in the downtown area. That's going to be tough. I think ideally, I think they could have, they're in El Paso, maybe on the east side of El Paso where it's growing. I think that'll be the most ideal spot to put the field, because there's really nothing where you can build around unless you start buying out people.
El Paso could use, was it the Sun Bowl? Is that what they call it?
No.
But that feels not. Stadium? Yeah, that feels not ideal for that. Honestly, they can build a really good soccer stadium, and also if they're going to build an academy, a complex similar to Star, I think they need to really look on the east side on the loop of El Paso. I think that's where they need to build a stadium. I know for like Socorro ISD, they have their big football stadium out there. It's in the
over there by the airport in Fort Bliss, over in that area.
So I think that's where they need. Where they need to have that stadium at. I know. Like I said, Coach Cano mentioned about there's a demand there. Downtown will be tough because I know me and Harry were down there for a game, and there's really no way they can put one down there. This is just too cramped.
The other one,
They could
Okay.
always go take over FC Wars' stadium for whenever they need to. So could do
Which
that.
you can actually see across from the bridge.
Correct. Right
They
there.
just walk across, although I don't know how that would work playing technically in another country. But
Well, kids go over there people go over there to party all the time. They just go across the borders, but not suggested. Not suggested. They just do it. So
Jonathan Chuck found an article about Fort Worth building a new stadium and rumored for USL Championship. This is to go with the USL League One possible stadium, 5,000 seat being built in Corpus. Rumors, they're not confirmed, but rumors are the Bold are shopping ownership. Mr. Epstein is possibly shopping his ownership rights. We'll start with you, Rafa. Your thoughts on Fort Worth, being a possible replacement for the Bold?
I think that would be an ideal place, especially to keep a team for the Copatejas. I know FC Dallas has a kind of a big pull down there, but I'm sure a lot of the Fort Worth fans, some of the Arlington fans really don't want to make that drive all the way to Frisco. This will be a good alternative here for them, to have. Plus, maybe also create a little rivalry between those two teams, if they play in the Open Cup. So if the Bull do sell and they move, hopefully it's, first choice will be in Fort Worth. So that'd be a good road trip to go up there for some games, and hopefully they do get that stadium, in the near future.
Your thoughts, Royce?
Yeah, I mean that'd be exciting for sure. Another addition to Copatejas, but that'd be cool. I mean, Fort Worth, with the stockyards and everything, is a really cool city to visit. That'd be a great road trip. Alternatively, it would be also cool to see. I know the Corpus Sharks people were here in town for the meetings, and it would be cool if they were in discussion for a possible championship spot, because that is a road trip I would make often. That'd be awesome.
I wouldn't mind both of them, and no offense,
Correct.
but I wouldn't mind. And hey, if Corpus started in League One and then got promoted to the championship, as long as SAFC didn't get demoted, I would have no problem with it.
Absolutely.
So we got to do a quick Gold Cup update. Mexico versus Canada, 9 p.m. Qatar, U.S. at the Treehouse in Austin at Q2 Stadium. We'll start with Team Mexico. Rafa, your thoughts on Mexico so far in the Gold Cup?
They're finally starting to hit their stride now. I know Funes Mori has been really giving fits to the other teams as far as,
Oh, you mean that center back that's playing a 9 because they didn't get to Tata Martino didn't bring another 9? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the one from Monterrey.
Okay.
So he's doing a good. Like I said, he's been a difference maker. I think I've seen some improvement also with Tecatito. Jonah had a really good game against Honduras. That was another little rivalry game with CONCACAF. They just took it to Honduras to the win.
Pretty convincing win. There's no question about it.
And that's a good sign. And because some of the other games, especially that Trinidad game, they just didn't play well. Like I said, now they're starting to do what they're supposed to be doing, and hopefully, like I said, they'll get business taken care of against Canada. I know Canada's going to be down 2 other important players because of cards, so that could make a big difference going into
also injury.
Yeah, and that
Their
too.
strikers have been really killed. Yeah, Alfonso Davies either.
And Alfonso Davies, exactly. That's their best player, and he hasn't played pretty much in the whole cup. So
Hasn't played at all. Period.
Yeah.
Not even on the roster.
So this will be a home game for Mexico. So they're in Houston, so they'll be a little rowdy. Not too happy about the ticket prices because I wish I could have gone, but I think Mexico they'll get the win and they'll go on to the final there in Las Vegas.
Royce, you got Team USA. They got past in my opinion, the toughest match in the quarterfinals with Jamaica. Got a late winner. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, out of all of the non-winners, out of the losers in the quarterfinals, Jamaica was definitely the best quality side there. They look good. They just didn't finish their chances, and the U.S. took advantage, and they did. And Blake was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Blake has been unbelievable for his entire international career. I mean, let's be honest with that.
One of the best goalies in CONCACAF, period.
Yeah, by far. And we have Keylor Navas in this division. So Andre Blake, I'm still baffled that he never went to Europe. I think it's size because he's like 5'10", but he's like a Jorge Campos. He's a great goalkeeper just because he's not 6 foot plus. But anyway, same thing with Nick Raimondo. I never understood why he didn't go to Europe because that dude is incredible. He can jump higher than anyone that's 6'4", but hey, he's 5'10", so nobody wanted to get him. Anyway, yeah, I mean, convincing a result. There's still a lot of questions around the U.S. team. Defense definitely was not one of them in this match. Miles
Robinson stepped up though, and Robinson very, very impressive.
Yeah, no, he rocked. James Sands rocked. Kellen Acosta was probably the man of the match as the 6. He just really set the table really well, and it just came down to who could finish, and the first wave of guys just didn't get it done. And basically what happened was they put Robinson a little bit forward to help out in the midfield, which allowed Shaq Moore to get up on the right, and also Christian Roldan, because Kellen Acosta and Miles Robinson were taking care of the defense on the right side, kind of in the midfield. That's what allowed Shaq Moore and Roldan to go up, and that was your difference in the game because Shaq Moore and Roldan combined for the cross that Hoppy ended up putting away to win the game. So
Shaq Moore, I think, has earned a spot on the roster based on his performance here.
He's been this is the point of this Gold Cup, is to see who the second string guys are, and that's what they're doing. And Shaq Moore he's made a very good case for himself to be the backup right back for sure. So we'll see.
So winner between Qatar and the U.S. will face the winner between Mexico and Canada August 1st, obviously in Las Vegas. One final topic on that: why the shitty pitch that at Jerry World last night? I think Rafa explained to me a little bit more on how the ball played and through here, but with all the facilities that we have, and I'm not saying Jerry World's a bad place. It just did not. The ball did not play right last night. I know Rafa explained it to me, and like I said, he can go into it first here, but I'm just disappointed that with all the nice, and not saying Jerry's World isn't a nice place. The AT&T was it not center AT&T.
It's AT&T Stadium.
AT&T Stadium. Go ahead.
What's very interesting, and the thing that baffles me about this Gold Cup setup, go with me here, just real quick. So if you're going to follow the U.S.'s path to winning this Gold Cup, they're going to play at the 100,000 seat Jerry World in the quarterfinals. In the semifinals, they're going to play in a 20,000 seat Q2 stadium.
Treehouse.
And the final is going to be in a 40 or 50,000 seat Allegiant Stadium or whatever it is in Las Vegas.
I thought it was higher than that. Or is it not open?
It's not even matching the Alamo Dome. That you cannot fit 60,000 people in there. And I know the Alamo Dome 65.
I thought it was hard they were looking
I think you're wrong on that.
Hosting the Super Bowl there. Like
it's 65.
They say 65. What if you look at what is published
for soccer?
If you see what they publish for football, at least I know what they publish for football is like 55. So
61 it says for soccer. 61.
There you go, 61. So not even what the Alamo Dome could do. But you're going to go from 100,000 to a fifth of that to half of that. Like, don't you want your biggest? That baffles me. I don't get why they set it up like that.
NRG in Houston, which is a lot.
That's 100,000. Yeah, that's 100,000.
No, NRG's 70ish.
It might be 70 or 80, but it was supposed to be 100 when
72.
I remember when they were building that thing first, but yeah, still 72 to where they play.
72 to 20. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's
and
what are you doing? It's just baffling. I'm sorry. That's the thing that I don't get with that. Goes on the organizer.
U.S. Soccer wants to do a lottery to pick its fans.
It's not U.S. Soccer. It's the sum, and they want to go where the money is.
Well, that's U.S. Soccer.
And everybody still thinks the money's in Austin, and for the national team, it might be, but
this is going to sell out. There's no question.
but
they can name their price, and Austin and it's going to sell out just because it's a 20,000 seat. It's
right, exactly.
People are going to want
It's
to
a low
go.
bar. It's a relatively low bar.
Yes,
Like I said, a fifth of Jerry World, and then a third of Vegas for the final. Like, yeah, exactly. But that's what they want. It's a sold out. Okay, yeah,
well, that's what they want to say.
Sold 2
Yeah,
tickets. Yeah,
Fox,
exactly.
but that's a whole separate discussion.
Fair. But anyway, going along with it, by far the most difficult semifinal is opponent between that is facing Mexico and the U.S. is going to be Qatar. Qatar is the Asian champions.
Mm-hmm.
Really good team, and they have shown it in this tournament that they are a really good team.
And they're playing their AB team. This is their warm up to the World Cup next winter. So this is why number one
have to qualify.
Yeah. So this is
for reasons.
This is their warm up, and if you looked at their record before this, wasn't very good. But just like South Africa when they hosted, going in, they had better results to build up along those lines. Same things that's happening. It'll be a very good match. I know Rafa's already on record. I know some guy I follow from Austin. That's Sergio. That's is very pro Mexico. Said U.S. is going to lose this match here, so I don't see it personally, but
it'll be close.
Oh, it'll be good. U.S. always plays close. U.S. is not going to blow a team away.
I just see them giving there's just some matchup problems, like what I saw with the Jamaica game. If there was a little stretch to the Jamaica game, they were dominating the U.S. And Jamaica may not have the talent like Qatar, and also maybe the speed. I think because the Qatar's more. I did notice a lot of,
Jamaica has more speed than Qatar does. Qatar has just
physical. That's what I meant. More physical instead of speed.
More physical, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that might come into play. But if the U.S. can kind of use their experience and just kind of get an early lead, I think they can pull it off and go on to the final.
So, my off-topic news of the sports world: OU, Texas to the SEC. Like it, love it, hate it. How do we feel?
Love it. I mean, it's
about money. We know what it's about. It's about money.
And if you even saw what happened on the phone call between OU and the heads of the Big Ten, well, now it's going to be the Big 8, or like I said, they just need to change their name to the Grade 8, and then just call themselves the Ovechkin Conference. But
they're either going to go 16 or they're going to go bye-bye, in my opinion.
But they'll definitely add more teams. And
I don't like. I think it's 50-50.
Anyway, it's the only smart thing for UT and OU, and honestly, the only school that looks really bad out of this is A&M for how much they've whined through this whole thing.
Missouri's right there, buddy.
But they still voted for OU and UT to come in.
This is a European Superliga for college football.
And that's where everything's going.
That's a 50-50 pod just mentioned the European Super League.
If you look at this,
so what's happening right now is that now that players can make money off of this, all these people who are just fat cats off of these leagues are now scared that their well is going to dry up. And that's basically what's happening, because the players can make money. You want all these players to go there, and they're really going to try to set this up as like a professional league amongst colleges to where the players can get paid, and they're going to somehow try to exploit that, because these rich people need to rewrite the rules to where they remain on top, which is what rich people do. So that's basically what's happening. But it's college sports evolving. Say what you will about that side. The positive side is that these kids are finally gonna these leagues and these teams earn billions of dollars, billions of dollars, and these kids are finally going to get a little bit of scratch of that off their likeness and off their effort. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. That's why it's a good thing.
It also helps out like players, especially here in Texas, as Texas high school football is a big thing. Recruiting wise for UT is just like, well, you don't have to go to Alabama to play and in the SEC. Now you can stay here and play. Same thing with the Oklahoma players. So that's going to benefit them. And I know A&M is going to hate that.
Yeah, that's why A&M hates it, is because all A&M's pitch and all Jimbo Fisher's pitch has had to be these last few years was, do you want to play in UT and just stay in Texas and play Kansas and Kansas State? Come with us. You play Alabama. You got all the eyes on you with all these national games. We're going to play Clemson. We're going to play Alabama, the best teams. We're also going to play Missouri, whatever. Anyway, we're also going to play Georgia and Tennessee, who are also terrible. But now that UT and Oklahoma are going to be in that spotlight, and good God, can I inject a bitter A&M in a laughing UT playing football against each other in 4 years in my veins right now? That's going to be amazing. That's going to be great. That's going to be great.
Thanksgiving football. It'll come back. Now the question is,
this ends up happening with Alabama and Auburn moving over to the east. And
it's going to be
so you can have
4. Yeah.
So now you can have a UT Alabama or OU Alabama final SEC championship game, which there's the money right there.
Well, it's going to be UT Alabama or UT Auburn. So let's kind of get that.
And I know we're talking mainly football, but gymnastics, baseball, softball,
everybody else is going to
basketball. It basically it makes SEC the conference in all sports. I know the Pac-12 likes to say they're conference of champions, and that may have been true when you look at the entire sports landscape, but the SEC is closing that gap and fast.
And go with me here. The biggest sport, football, sure. It's not really going to be the biggest sport that benefits from this. The biggest two sports, that are going to benefit from this move. Because if you look, OU and UT combining with what the SEC has, it is going to be the most amazing college baseball and college softball we have ever seen. Because
basketball.
No, ACC's basketball, dude. No, that's.
But adding.
But they're solid. They're adding solid teams in Texas and Oklahoma are solid.
Yeah. They're also adding.
They're not blue. They're not blue blood.
Right. They're also adding solid swim teams. I'm saying the two biggest sports that are going to benefit are baseball and softball out of this. Correct.
OU won the national championship. They host the national finals.
That's correct.
Going in UT, it's I'm not a UT fan, but its baseball history is rich. For that here, you go with Vanderbilt, who has rich history as well.
Hell yes.
Through there, you got Florida. I think is also very rich at softball. Mississippi State.
Yeah.
To me, I'm more excited about the side sports. I know we don't talk about gymnastics.
Baseball's not a side sport. Whoa.
It's a side sport, buddy.
Baseball is the sport.
I also add track, because UT has got a good track team. LSU's got a great track team. The soccer, that's going to be interesting. The women's soccer, now you're adding two quality programs.
Yeah.
To that SEC soccer.
Very much so.
And then, Big 10 now is Big 12. That's
Big 8.
Really going to.
Which I guess the question is which Texas team ends up in Conference USA. That's going around as far as that. It's got to be Baylor,
Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech going to Pac-12.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that. Or maybe Oklahoma State ends up going to the Big 10.
ACC. I think Oklahoma State to ACC is better.
No, because that's not a real good football. And they're more football. They're not really very. ACC is very much a basketball.
That'll restart the rivalry with Nebraska. So I think that would have made
exactly.
But
that's
I can see them going out west because Oklahoma State has that little history with Colorado. From the Big
Colorado's Big 10, aren't they?
Well, they're Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and then you also have
attention to college.
You have Utah. I see more like TCU and TCU maybe going to the Atlantic.
But the team that's going to struggle to find a spot and it kind of surprises me is Baylor. With all the off-field issues and then the religious aspect of it, they're the one school that if there's going to be a loser, From the people that I follow, that may be the one school that does.
I was going to say counterpoint. Who cares? Okay, let's move on. Okay.
That probably ended like Notre Dame being an independent.
And honestly,
Notre Dame's going to have to go to the ACC. It's what's going to have to happen.
It's written on the wall. They're just going to do it reluctantly. But with Baylor is probably going to have to do the same thing. Honestly, whoever's going to accept them, and the kind of the same thing with the BYU. But as of right now, in the history, the only reason Baylor was really in the Longhorn Conference was because of Governor Ann Richards.
Yep.
Because she went to Baylor and she basically drugged their ass, and that's the only reason they're really successful. So they have possibly the greatest governor of Texas history to thank for their relevance, and that may be coming crashing down now. But we'll see what happens.
You'll see West Virginia probably end up in the ACC where they should be at.
That's a no-brainer though. Unless the Big Ten expands, so we'll see.
So the one interesting day is going to be Kansas and Kansas State.
Kansas goes Big Ten. There's no question about that.
No. Kansas goes ACC with the basketball.
No.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yes, they're a basketball school. What I think happens at Kansas is they dissolve their football team, they go predominantly basketball, and they go to the ACC with the Blue Bloods, and they become themselves a Blue Blood. That's my call. Write it down. I'm really good at guessing things.
Final thoughts. We'll end it on that because we're already about an hour and a half. Final thoughts, Royce.
So it's going to be the same thing. Just get your shots. COVID's going up. I have a really happy thing, but I'm going to get the bad news out of the way first. COVID's going up, man. And also the rhinovirus is going around. That's what I have. And there are people dying from what I have, but it's just an unseasonable flu, or not a flu, but a cold. It's an unseasonable cold. This is typically the cold you get like in November and December when it starts drying up and you get that crap and you just can't shake it. That's what I have right now. And it's just unseasonable because people are finally getting together, and my kid's finally going to school. And so far we've gotten 2 colds since he's started school. So we're having a really good time here. But COVID's going up again. Even if you're vaccinated, wear your masks, just protect yourself. It's not just you protecting yourself. You're protecting your family. You're protecting your friends. You're protecting your loved ones, and you're protecting everybody else when you get your shot and you wear a mask. So please do both. If you can't, do at least one of those things just to help everybody out. But the good news and a very happy announcement, congratulations to Cam Lindley on getting engaged over the weekend. That's great news, and we're happy for you, man.
And Michael LaHood.
Yes, Michael LaHood as well.
That's right. Mike also announced congratulations, even though
he went hiking.
We still support him. Yeah, he's San Antonio FC through and through. That's fine. Yes, he's Austin FC's announcer, but we love you, Mike. Congratulations. We love you, Cam. Congratulations.
He's got to get paid, right?
And your fiancés. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is I know some people that are working in a media capacity for Austin FC and also in a professional capacity for Austin FC. That's their livelihood. Make your money, man. No one should be mad at you for that.
Nope.
That's you making your money, that you live in your life. You got that opportunity because you put yourself in that opportunity. Awesome. That's great. So exactly. But congratulations, Cam. Congratulations, Mike.
Your final thought there, Mr. Clean Shaven Rafa?
Final thought, feels good to have some sunlight.
Weird, right?
Yeah, it feels a little lighter now. It's a little cooler, but
you don't get all those leftovers though in your beard, though. That's kind of the only thing.
But just final thought, like I said, like Royce mentioned, go out and get your vaccine. We don't want to go back to what we had back earlier in the year, and we're doing such a good job, and now we're kind of retracting that. So don't let up. Just keep, to get your vaccine, take care of. And then just look forward for this, this week's games. Get out there. There's no excuse unless you have a really bad cold.
Yeah.
Let's fill up the stands because this is another important game, and we want to show, that our players that hey, we're out here to support you guys, and no matter what, conference game or friendly, we need to be out there, and we want to get those 3 points. And then hopefully we can get also a caravan of fans up there to go to Austin and ruin their party and bring those 3 points back that we lost back in July.
That'd be great.
So my final thoughts is, number one, I want to say thank you to Jenica and James Hope for going up and with me and helping support the Athenians, as well as there was a bunch of other Athenians that family members and supporters that came through. But I know from SAFC fans that they were the ones that came up on Friday night, which was a tough do to get up there for the 2.5 hour drive. So thank you to Jenica and James Hope for coming out and supporting the Athenians. Number two, the Copatejas have posted, if you go under promo code 2021 bold, you can get general administration tickets.
General admission. Yeah.
General admission tickets, which is basically the south side and the east side stands for the bold for $10 for that here. So if you have the ability to go to, was it Elroy, I think is what it is, where the Bold Stadium is out.
Elroy, Texas, where Circuit of the Americas is.
Circuit of the Americas is, or for Austin next to the airport. Go out and support San Antonio FC against the Bold. It'll be a good match. It'll be an entertaining match. It's always a fun drive. If you can pack a couple of people in your car, please do. Save on the gas for it here. Bold fans, even though there's a few of them, they are pretty good and very friendly as well. And just to kind of echo Royce, and I know the news today, if you work for the VA, it's now, or I think anything in the government, you're not going to be required to get the vaccine in New York City, state of California. Federal government says it's not illegal to require people to get the vaccine. I'm going into the office on Wednesday for the first time in a year and 3 months. Okay. So just please, everybody, get the vaccine. It's
just my first presentation on Wednesday. So I don't know.
Wow. Just real quick, one more group of people that getting your vaccine and wearing your mask helps out are the medical professionals,
yes.
The people who we have really lifted up high. Let's show them that we respect the work that they do, the doctors and nurses, all of the medical professionals. I know a lot of them are going through it right now because they've gone through 2 or 3 waves, and there's another wave, and they're seeing a lot of death right now. I know a lot of medical professionals that I have talked to personally that straight up are thinking about quitting and going into another line of work. So even if there is another wave of slightly less people, there's going to be nobody to take care of you when you're in the hospital and on your deathbed. So think about that. Just get your vaccine and wear a mask and be careful for everybody else. And, let's help out the medical professionals by doing that, because they've been heroic these last year and a half. Let's show them that we appreciate that for sure.
Same as the HEB workers and all the service related individuals as well.
100%.
Robert Rankin also mentioned free soccer ball for the first 1,000 people. And so
at the bold match.
At the bold match. I'm not sure San Antonio FC is giving stuff away.
And it's $2 hot dog and $1 beer on Wednesday.
And if you can, please get a bunker ticket. Because unfortunately that still 100%. Hasn't been resolved. If you want to go down, get a bunker ticket. That way you can get in along those lines for that here. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I know it was a long one, but I think we covered quite a bit with 3 matches that we discussed, with the Athenians and then all the news and notes from USL. So do want to appreciate everybody tuning in that can't, watch live, that will watch on the podcast. Thank you. Any feedback that you guys have, please let us know. We're always open for it. But thank you for tuning in. And what's life without goals? We out.
Thanks, guys.